Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. Sorry we missed you last week, but we had some family vacations and such that we needed to prepare for, and it's just be honest, we're on a 2 week clip right now anyway, so I mean it kind of is just what it is. Um, man, wrestling's fun right now, and there's just so many things that we want to talk about today. And I mean, we don't really have a set list. We're just gonna figure out what happens. I know Tom's got a couple of things he would like to bitch, moan, and complain about. Um, and that's just kind of how things go around here sometimes. So let's just have a good time today. It'd be great. Can't wait to see Tom.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Braun Breaker just killed a guy. It was a jobber, but he killed a guy.
What's up, dude?
Not much. Just got back from Disney last night. It was tremendous. Highly recommend going to Disney World. Every time I go, I'm like, oh man, this is a lot of money. And then I get home, I'm like, I got my money's worth. Got my money's worth. Got my credit card stolen. Well, didn't get it stolen. I think I left it, and then I had to, and then somebody took it, and they tried to buy something with it, but I had already locked it. And anyway, that happened. But otherwise, it's cool. They'll send me another one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, fuck it.
For sure.
Send me another one. Hey, dickhead, send me another one. I know I pay it off every Friday, and I just make you give me points money, but whatever. Just send me more. I've had this card for like 5 years now. Well, like not the same number, but like the X1 card. I've had it for like 5 years now, and I've never paid a penny of interest. And I've had them send me like 4 cards because I've lost them. I must have they must be in the hole with me somewhere in the tune of 10 grand, which is I'm sure fine because I'm sure they've got billions and billions of dollars. But yeah, it is what it is now.
Yeah,
How
you had a good time, pal.
How are you?
I am sleepy, tired, and stressed. I also have been on vacation from work, but I did not have a fun-filled travel vacation like you did. I had a stay at home and get a bunch of fucking shit done vacation. And I've got a couple of days left on said stay home and get shit done vacation, and I have one project left to complete. And unfortunately for me, it's the biggest, most time-consuming project on my entire list, and I've got like a day and a half left to do it because I have other things that I need to do on Wednesday and Thursday. So I've got tomorrow, and then I've got Wednesday evening and Thursday evening to complete said project. And I just don't think that I'm going to get it done before I have to go back to work, which is fine.
The rest of my vacation time this year is going to be spent doing that. So this was my only like time to go thing. I might spend like a Wednesday in Kennywood this summer, but that'll be the extent of it. So
I wanted to try to get as much shit knocked out early into the spring summer so that I could just kind of enjoy my summer fall, not have to worry about doing too much extra bullshit. And I really like the timeline of how this has all worked out for me, but I'm tired.
Yeah, I feel that. That's for some reason, like I can walk 20,000 steps a day and wander through Disney World and come out fresh as a daisy. But like, if it's like paint the deck, the next day I'm like, oh my God, my arm. It's like I only spent 4 hours doing it, but it's like this shoulder comes off, then I switched and like this shoulder's coming off and like my legs hurt, my knees hurt, and
Well, I golfed today,
that's good.
and like we only played 9 holes because my hands just hurt so bad. I just, it is what it is, man. Enough of me belly aching.
And we're gonna be 40 this year, so
I've had a very productive vacation. I've enjoyed the extra time with my wife and children. I've enjoyed the time to play some golf. I've enjoyed the time to get my projects done. But this is one of those vacations that I'm going to need a vacation to recover from my vacation.
yeah.
And that's just not really in the cards. So,
Well, so I have a question for you, and this might be a fun place to start because wrestling is fun again. How do you feel? How's King of the Ring going for you? And Queen, King and Queen of the Ring.
It's dope. I think that like they made it feel like it means something.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy the, and a lot of people will look at this and say, "Oh, it's just King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring. It's just a bunch of cold matches for the sake of having cold matches, and this, that, and the third." And while there's been a little bit of that, I mean, I feel like they've done a pretty good job of keeping some continuity with some stories that they're starting to tell and that they've been trying to tell. Isto Facto, Nia Jax just destroying the entire women's division and
Having a good time with that. Having a good time with that.
And then obviously think they did a really good job with Bianca Belair and Tiffany Stratton and kind of continuing that whole thing. That match was great. The men's side of things has been really fun. I feel like
they're really showcasing Tama Tonga.
Yes. And I think that that's a good thing.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of, they're trying to build this Bloodline 2.0 and eventually get us to what we believe is going to be Civil War at some point. And I think that there's not a wrestling fan in the world that doesn't feel like the King of the Ring is one of those things, one of those vehicles to kind of set people a little bit higher. Because you remember back in the day, right? Like,
I mean,
Bret Hart, Stone Cold, Owen, The Rock, Triple H. Those 5 in particular come to mind. They won the King of the Ring, and then within 6 to 8 months, they were in the main event title picture. And most of them became world champions
multiple times over, like a lot
shortly after.
A lot of them were multiple times. Triple H is 14-time world champ. The Rock's 10-ish, 10 or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Stone Cold something like 8-ish.
I think he's 5 or 6. I want to say he doesn't have he's got Hulk Hogan numbers.
Yeah, you're right. He had long reigns. His reigns were 500-600 days, which at a point in time where 500-600 days as the champ was unheard of. Well, probably like 200-300 days, but still unheard of. No, for me, it's been one of those things where it's like we had talked about this a few months prior when AEW does these tournament things, because they do them way more often, but it makes more sense when they do it, because, well, not when they do it, but it makes more sense for them because they're supposed to be sports based and they do cold matches all the time anyway. So like when it's cold matches, but it's for a tournament and it's for a title of some sort, or it's for a thing, it tends to make more sense, and you can get away with that. And especially, in a post WrestleMania, edging into summer, where generally it's kind of, historically kind of a dead time for wrestling anyway. Because I was on vacation. You're on vacation. Like people are starting to take vacations and do spring cleanup and things like that. So maybe like it's something to sort of like latch onto in wrestling, but it's not necessarily like, oh man, I gotta watch Royal Rumble. I gotta watch. You gotta watch between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and then you gotta watch the build up to SummerSlam, when it's like that's kind of wrestling. Those are the wrestling peaks, right? The like Royal Rumble to to WrestleMania, and then that little SummerSlam build up at the end of the year when the end of the summer when nothing's going on, everything is stopped, everybody's done, and it's just hot outside. You don't want to go out there, and like your grass is dead, but it's like, hey, we're building to SummerSlam. Go get some cold beers and watch wrestling, and it's like that sounds like a great time. So this is like a nice segue, I feel like, to me, and I feel like the cold matches have been fantastic, and we're gonna get out of these. Some of them are nothing, but it's just okay. This is just a, King of the Ring first round, King of the Ring second round, whatever. But a lot of them end up building into feuds that last and roll into SummerSlam. So I feel like a lot of that's been great thus far, and I really, really am thinking that we're going to see Gunther win the King of the Ring. Probably which will catapult him into the main event picture, which I'm very excited about. Although if Jey Uso beats him, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. So I guess we'll see what happens there. And it's like that's what I like about it too, because it's sort of unpredictable.
Yeah,
you know what's going to happen in the general day-to-day.
That's tonight, right?
Yeah, I think that's the main event tonight. Yeah. And it's like you kind of know what's going to happen in the day-to-day things, but like once we get into the King of the Ring, it's like kind of an anything goes. It's like an any given Sunday kind of thing, because they could throw it whichever way they want to throw it, and then once somebody wins the King of the Ring, maybe they cut a thing.
You know what I think the biggest takeaway about the whole King of the Ring piece is, right, is that in the Triple H era, right, if the Paul Levesque era, whatever we're calling this, it's very much been one of those things where everything matters now.
Mm-hmm.
As to where before, like you said, you have that in between time Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, and then you've got like a couple throwaway shows after WrestleMania, and then SummerSlam. Everything means something now. Everything has rhyme and reason, and there's emotion attached to a lot of things, and you find yourself as a fan becoming invested in things that you wouldn't normally be invested in, like a up and coming Jey Uso, or the way that the Judgment Day is kind of playing out right now with Carlito and the things that it's like, oh, Carlito trying to snuggle up against Judgment Day. What's that all about?
How cool was it? Like that was a neat little thing, because him and Damian Priest having some friction there was like, Damian was like, I don't like you, stay away from me, and it was like I like that. And,
and it's a callback. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it sounds real hypocritical because like it's a callback, and like we shit all over AEW's callbacks all the time, but like AEW's callbacks are like callbacks to shit that happened in New Japan like 6 to 8 years ago.
Yeah.
That only the markiest of the marks are gonna know, and then Excalibur fucking speaks to it, but it's like whatever. But like Michael Cole and Pat McAfee and Graves and Barrett are telling those stories, and they're deep diving in on it. And like, hey, well, Carlito, and Damian Priest had some issues when it came to Bad Bunny, and and then the whole thing with the LWO and in Puerto Rico, and you know what I mean. So like, it kind of spotlights things, I think, a little bit in a different way. But the King of the Ring's been great, man. The in-ring action has been so much fun. And I know that I keep coming in here week after week after week after week and putting WWE production over. My God, the shows are so fucking produced so goddamn well.
They're so tight too. And I feel like that's really the like, so it's starting to feel to me. Do you remember when Vince was sharp and had like a group, and it was like they were the Stooges on TV, but it was Patterson, Briscoe, Sergeant Slaughter. But then, in the back, he also had, Bruce Pritchard. He had Jim Cornette. He had a team, right? It was a team. Yeah, I see it. I see the Eagle Rare. I don't drink whiskey these days. I really just like need to come be at your house. I think I just need to come like show up and knock on the door and be like, I'm sleeping here tonight.
I mean, I have an unopened bottle for you and I to have.
I know you do. You've been telling me that for a year.
I mean, it exists.
I believe you.
It's in my upstairs cabinet, so much so that I've been nursing this. It just lives right here on my desk. So I'll nip it a couple times, you know. I saw it and I was like, "Ooh, Eagle Rare." A buddy of mine found a bottle earlier this week, down outside of Charleston, West Virginia.
Why is it so rare? There used to be a whole fucking shelf of it.
I used to be able to walk in and find this sitting on a shelf, like
$20,
like Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, $99. It was $19.99.
Well, you want to know what I think the problem is with this? Why it's so hard to come by these days? It's this 10-year. It's this 10-year age statement, right? Like Buffalo Trace just refuses to budge on the quality of the Eagle Rare, and that's okay, man.
And they had 300 million barrels they needed to get rid of 10 years ago, and now, fuck us.
So
it really sells for $20. We may as well make it more expensive. Anyway, so as far as King of the Ring is concerned, for me, just to put a little bow on it, it's been, to me, this like, oh, King of the Ring qualifying. What's going on tonight? What's going on tonight? What's going on tonight? And I gotta watch that. I gotta pick up on that. I gotta check that one out. I mean, I was on vacation. I'm still like finding the YouTube videos and like I'm like watching them in line at Disney World. Like, what's going on here? What happened here? So I mean, just great stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff is like kind of predictable. Obviously, Randy Orton was moving on. Obviously, Gunther was moving, but now we're sort of in the shit of it, right? Now
Yeah.
I'm just like, is it going to be Jey Uso? Is it going to be Gunther? And it's like those are not like there was no feud built to that, but it's like, what's going to happen?
Why does there have to be a feud built to it?
There doesn't. That's the thing, is that there doesn't have to be in a King of the Ring tournament. And here we are. Tournament.
Yeah, really?
Tournament.
Really?
Tournament.
So if this was AEW, you'd be shitting all over this, though.
Well, to be fair, I like everybody more. Does that make sense? I don't know. I just like the wrestlers more. And that's probably a little bit of bias, agreeable, because I've
a little bit.
I mean, Randy Orton's been wrestling. I've been a Randy Orton fan since we were kids. Well,
okay. Well, what about Chris Jericho?
You were young.
You were Chris Jericho, Mark, back in the day.
Sure was. I mean, I was a Ric Flair Mark too. I wouldn't want to see Ric Flair in the King of the Ring.
Well, no, because he just dies in the ring.
Oh, man, he wants to. He really wants to. He's trying so hard to die in the ring. I mean, I know that.
Did you see he got thrown out of a pizza joint a couple of, what was it, like 10 days ago or some shit?
Yeah, it was right before I left. He got kicked out, and somebody had a video of it.
I didn't watch it. I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
It wasn't as egregious as everybody.
As soon as I saw the article and they were like, "Oh, Ric Flair got kicked out of a pizza joint," I'm like, "Well, that doesn't surprise me." And then they were like, "Oh, here's video evidence of Ric Flair getting kicked out of the pizza joint." And I'm like,
It actually wasn't. It wasn't that scandalous. He was like, "You know how many people I bring here? You know how much money I spend here?" And they were just like, "No, I'm sorry, you just can't." Like,
yeah, see, like that. I'm glad I didn't watch it because, like, I hate people that try to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
it would have triggered you.
Yes.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, so I'm on vacation and one of my managers called me today and was like, "This guy wants to call you." I said, "No, I'm on vacation." She's like, "Well, I wouldn't honor his coupon." And I said, "Well, why wouldn't you take his coupon?" She's like, "Well, because he doesn't fucking have it. He just wants me to take his word for it." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, good talk. You're calling me why?" I mean,
they called you because they were like, Walt might find this fun. If Walt's having a good time right now, this might be fun for him. Let me check. And then like I think that was really where it was, because if I was that person, I'd be like, Walt might think this is funny. Let me call him real quick. and truth be told, I would let you go. You could be like, I'm busy. What? And I'd be like, oh, never mind. It's cool. I got it. But if you weren't busy, I'd be like, okay, hold the phone. I got a funny thing. You might want to do this. This guy wants to call you. And you'd be like, what the fuck? I'm on vacation. What is wrong? Hold on.
Yeah. No.
Hold on. He has a coupon, but he doesn't have the coupon. What do you mean he doesn't have the coupon? He wants me to take his word for said coupon. And you'd be like, if you were doing nothing, you'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Tell him he has to call me right now, though, because I'm going to do something in like 5 minutes. And it would be your fun little, like, it would be your fun for the day, because you'd be like, well, sir, if you want to come back with the coupon, we'll honor it. However, I feel like you're trying to lie to me for $4. So maybe just let it go.
Yeah,
And
bro.
like,
Okay, like, take a message. You know what I'm saying?
all right, goodbye. Boop. Like, that might be a fun guy to hang up on. You know what I mean? Somebody ever say "fuck you" on the phone? You just go,
Oh yeah. Yeah. That
used to be my favorite thing. I used to try when people would get irate with me when I was in like customer service at PNC like 20 years ago. I would try to get them to curse at me, because then I could hang up on them. So I would put on like almost anime voice, like, "Oh, sir, I don't know what I can do for you. Oh my gosh, what else would you want from me? I'm just a little boy. I don't have any power." Cue. Boop.
craziness out there, bro. Craziness.
It was just how do you trigger these people to get them to curse so that you can hang up the phone? And I would hang up and laugh.
That's not a hang up for me. That's like a triggering for me. It's like, oh yeah, we want to do this.
Well, so at the time you're the boss, but like I was the peon at the bottom level.
Yeah.
Of the rung. So it was just like I was trying to get him off, because I was also not allowed to hang up unless they cursed at me. So it was almost like a goal. It was a fun goal, because once shit flew off the rails and you knew it was never getting back on the rails, like it was just like, let me see how long it takes for me to get this guy to curse at me. And generally it took me a minute. I used to hit the timer, because I had a phone that would flip up. You know, remember the old ye old tech with the whole ass keyboard? But I would pull up a timer, because that's all I had. Boop boop, and I would say, "Okay, go, Thomas," and I would try to make things work for me. And as soon as he said "fuck you" or "fucking something," it was boop, and it was great.
Done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's disappointing that like Ric Flair did some dumb shit like that. I mean, it is what it is at this point. Oh my God, you don't know who I am. Yeah, we know, Rick. We just don't care. You're drunk. Okay, go.
You're drunk in 80.
Go home.
Go home.
Go home. Woo.
It's 8 o'clock. Go home.
It's past your bedtime, old man.
Past your bedtime. Yeah. You might have peed your pants. I can smell it. Go home.
You're worried about the kitchen manager being in the bathroom. Sounds like you should have went to the bathroom.
Sure smells like it.
Sure smells like you took a Shibata in this joint.
Oh, is that our transition? Fuck Shibata. Okay. Hear me out now. Hold on. So, AEW this week has on Wednesday night, Dynamite, it will be Chris Jericho on commentary with Shibata Brian Keith, and Hook in a triple threat match. This will be the worst. This is not a prediction. This is a spoiler. This will be the worst match of the week. Shibata is a pimple on the anus of wrestling. Shibata is the worst fucking wrestler in AEW. And that's saying something. Okay? Shibata is the worst wrestler in AEW. Like, he sucks so much, it makes me angry how much Shibata sucks. Okay? Like, Shibata is just, oh my God. He is like, he's the worst wrestler of 2024. And it's not even close. Like, he is so fucking bad.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel, pal?
If Shibata died tomorrow, I would chuckle and not be sad. He is so fucking bad. Like, this guy he thinks he is king shit. And Tony Khan is treating him like he's king shit. He is so fucking bad. This guy looks like shit. He wrestles like shit. He doesn't sell at all. It's not even that he sells like shit. He sells zero. He doesn't sell at all. He just lays there when he gets pinned because he doesn't fucking win matches. He just doesn't take damage until he gets pinned. He is like a poorly designed video game boss is all he is. He doesn't react to damage. He doesn't he doesn't seem to take damage. He kicks out at one if it's not the finish. He's a scrawny little, like, he weighs like 150 pounds. Like, he should be, like, I could snap him in half. He fucking sucks. I hate Shibata. When there's a Shibata match, not only do I want to turn it off, I want to, like, unwatch the show. I want, like, negative views on the show. He is so fucking terrible. And they've put him in a match with Hook and some chooch I've never seen before in my life. And I like Hook, but they've buried him. Hook is buried 12 feet under. He's not even buried 6 feet under. He's buried 12 feet under. And they put the king of, you want to talk about X-Pac heat. It's not X-Pac heat anymore. It's Chris Jericho heat. They've got Chris Jericho on commentary for this match. So it's Chris Jericho heat. Shibata, the worst wrestler of all time. And Hook, who they've buried 12 feet under, and some chooch I've never heard of. And it's going to be dog shit. In a triple threat match, which is generally already dog shit. Like, it's hard to make a triple threat match any good. And we've put a rookie in Hook, some chooch we've never heard of, and the worst wrestler ever, and Chris Jericho with Chris Jericho heat on commentary. Can you explain to me, Walter, how it could be a worse match than that? Because I can't think of it. I can't. In 2024, I don't think we could put a worse match together. I don't.
Danhausen could be the special guest referee.
But it's the same match still?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that would make it better or worse, and it would depend.
I think it would make it better.
Now it probably would make it better. So how could we make it worse?
Make Chris Jericho do commentary as the special guest referee.
Yes. Yes, that's the only way. You're right. They would have to put the thing on him like he's a Backstreet Boy. And I don't think Chris Jericho has the lungs for that, which would also make it terrible because you'd hear the whole match. So, yeah. God, AEW's been so fucking bad.
Well, I mean, what's your beef with AEW this week, bro? I mean, like, Okada's doing his thing.
Oh, my God. Are we talking about Okada now? We're just jumping right into Okada. All right. See, I wanted to talk about how Swerve Strickland and Brian Cage was actually a good match, but it sat in the middle of the show like a wet turd. But anyway, so let's talk about Okada. Okada is the most overrated wrestler of all time. Of all time. The most overrated.
Blasphemy, bro. You're going to piss a lot of people off with that comment.
Incredible. Good. Please. Okada is the most overrated wrestler in the history of overrated wrestling. I thought AEW Kenny Omega was overrated. No, bullshit. Okada is overrated. This
Hey,
motherfucker.
Kenny's a real one.
Kenny's been speaking some truth lately, and I'm not sure if it was the diverticulitis that made him see the truth or what, but Kenny's been speaking some truth lately. Maybe we'll get to that in a little bit. But Okada, most overrated wrestler of all time. First of all, this guy, everything he does, somebody else does it better than he does. He looks like shit. Okada's like fucking, like, he looks like hit the gym, man. Like, this is your fucking job. Go to the gym sometimes.
Are you body shaming Okada?
I'm body shaming Okada. Okay, he's supposed to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Guy looks fucking like if I lost 10 pounds, that's what I'd look like. I'd look like Okada. In fact, I'd look better than Okada because I actually do lift a little bit and go to the gym. But I still drink beer, and apparently that's it. So if I stop drinking beer and just eat carrots and celery and fucking chicken and broccoli, I would look infinitely better than Okada.
I mean, he's only 36 years old.
Oh, he's only 36 years old? That's great. I'm only almost 40 years old, and he and I basically have the same body type. Okada, he's either overrated or washed up. So it's one or the other.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's probably both. Honestly, he's either
or
overrated
maybe you
or
just don't, or maybe you're just a WWE mark over there, Paul Levesque, fucking Homer Simpson loving boy, huh? You don't see the greatness that is Kazuchika Shikashika Okada. Okay, he's a fucking New Japan legend, boy. Okay, I don't understand why you're just a WWE mark, ain't you?
I mean, at 36 though, he may as well be the Goldberg of New Japan. And I don't feel like he's the Oldberg of New Japan. He looks like shit. His wrestling is not snappy. It's not intense. There's nothing impressive that I've seen Okada do in AEW.
How dare you disrespect the Rainmaker like that, huh? Which you sucking down Shawn Michaels farts through a beer bong, huh? Is that what you doing right now? You entertainment fucking mark. Huh? Why don't you go watch a movie and keep the wrestling to the wrestlers? Like,
if only there was good wrestling. If only Okada was good at wrestling. Because, it's just everything he does, somebody else in AEW does it better. Kenny Omega did it better in AEW. All of it. And I'm not a Kenny Omega fan. Kenny Omega.
No, but you're certainly a Kenny apologist these days. Okay, he starts spouting off all free on the Twitch over there. Now you just want to gargle his balls.
I'm not there yet. He still Kenny still had one of the worst AEW title reigns. It wasn't the worst, but it's up there. But at least Kenny stayed in shape. Kenny looked good when he was doing it. I mean, it was too much, but it was, Kenny at least stayed in shape. I feel like we've degraded now to we picked this chooch out of his backyard. Okada looks like shit. His wrestling's not anything. It's nothing special. He doesn't look special. I think Derek called him, you mean Japanese Cody Rhodes? It's if Cody Rhodes got some sort of, Victorian wasting disease and stopped going to the gym. Yeah.
God, bro. It's not that bad.
No, it's that. I mean, compared to Cody Rhodes, it is. If that's what we're comparing it to. That's what Derek. Look, Derek's not here to defend himself, but that's what Derek said. I'm just telling you. Derek hasn't been. I feel like we haven't seen. I haven't actually been I haven't had a chat bubble with Derek. Not a chat bubble, but like a face bubble with Derek in a year. But I feel like that's what Derek said that earlier.
Derek did said that earlier. But I think that if we're being fair, Derek just sees the bleach blonde hair, and that's kind of
Well, I mean,
Pissed.
he's a very surface level kind of guy. But I'm just saying that, like, fucking overrated. Overrated.
How dare you disrespect Okada like that? You WWE loving piece of crap, huh? Why can't you just see that Okada and the Bucks of Young, okay, are the future of wrestling? And that there is no wrestling without the Bucks of Young.
I mean, they're the past now. It seems like they were the future for all of the end of Vince McMahon's career, and that they squandered it. It was all squandered. They had a golden opportunity to do something, and they decided instead to do nothing, and then they squandered it. It's squandered. It's gone. It's gone now. It's man, I watched Wednesday. I really did. And
so you watched that you watched the fact that they jammed their brand new world champion into the center of a fucking jam-packed fucking card of shit.
Sure did. They jammed him in the middle of it. Him and Brian Cage put on a great match. And it had build, it had meaning. There was reason to be upset.
Well, that's because they was in a faction together.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they don't do that very well over there at the Get the F Out World Wrestling Entertainment, because that's entertainment.
So I'm going to say that it feels to me as though Swerve, I mean, clearly everybody kind of books themselves over there. Swerve knows what he's doing, and he brought Brian Cage along for the ride, and put him in the after he had that guy with the weird tattoos on his face, and the other guy that got released and who was in NXT for a little bit and was
Parker Boudreaux.
Parker Boudreaux, that's him. All those guys. He had those guys first, and it was like, well, that was a fucking mess, and then they got rid of that, and Swerve's been a star, and once he finally got the pieces put together, it took a while, but once they finally got the pieces put together, Swerve got it right, and I think kudos to them for letting Swerve do the trial and error thing, because he's a fantastic leader of like a team of stuff, and then once they put him with Brian Cage and God, who else they put him with? It was somebody less impressive than Brian Cage. But anyway, so finally
Prince Nana.
Well, Nana's still with him, but so they put him and Brian Cage together in the Mogul Embassy. Although half the Mogul Embassy never really followed him to the ring, it was just Prince Nana doing the dance. But which was great, and it really once you
it was great.
Well,
it was great.
Once you pointed it out to me that Swerve was the killer and Nana was this like distraction piece in the back.
It was great, was it, sir?
I also appreciated that Swerve was like, has he been doing that this whole time? Anyway, so if you're not watching us live, our facial reactions and our leaning into the microphones has been rather dramatic here. But I feel like it found its groove. I found its groove. It found its groove.
How dare you discount the fact that Princess Nene Naruto fucking did the shimmy sham, okay? They don't do that over there in the WWE.
I feel like people dance, the New Day dance. Anyway, so Swerve's clearly been on a roll for a while. We've talked about it. It's been at least the last, in his build up to his title reign and in his win. And honestly, everything he's done as a champion has been cool. However, and he's been there. He's been a fighting champion. He's been a guy on TV every week. We keep seeing him, which I love. I really do. I like it. He's a draw. he is clearly a draw. If there's anybody drawing ratings, if there's anybody maintaining ratings, it's Swerve Strickland. And him versus Brian Cage was a great match because I think Brian Cage is now at a level where he's a good he's at like not a Baron Corbin level, but like he's at a good level of like he's a guy that is clearly a guy who you can say he's a threat for the world champion, and he can have a competitive match with a world champion.
Well, he is the world champion,
and you believe that Brian Cage can have him because he looks like a guy who's a competitive guy who could be that, and he does a great job, and he looks good doing it, and I think the right thing happened. However, it was sandwiched. It was like, hey, let's put a piece of steak between a bunch of turds. And that's what they did. And it was a nice steak. It was delicious. It was a good match, but it was sandwiched between poop. It was just surrounded by poop. And I don't know, man. It's just like, do they just not have the ability? Or do they not have they have the talent. They clearly have the talent. It's something with the booking and the continuity that just
hey man. Hey, what are you talking about? Do I not have the ability? Okay, have you ever watched Rampage? Huh? Rampage is the greatest thing on television. I can't believe that you would sit here and you would question the fact that I have the ability to run a wrestling promotion. I don't understand what your problem is. If you watch Rampage is the greatest thing ever. It's only an hour on Fridays. I mean, sometimes it's at 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's 7 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's 11 o'clock at night. I don't know. Fuck, I don't even think TNT knows what time it is. I don't even think they know that we have a show that we run every Friday night. But you're going to sit here, you're going to tell me that I don't have the ability to run a wrestling promotion? I'm running 2 wrestling promotions. Plus, I'm doing a football team. Plus, I've got the fucking soccer thing. Okay, sorry. European football. Okay, I got a lot going on, man. Okay, I don't know the ability. I'd like to see you do what I do in a day, sir. Okay, you couldn't do it, but there you are. You sit behind your microphone and you don't have the ability to run a wrestling show. Oh my God! Hey, you got the champion in the middle of the. Well, let me tell you something, bud. Okay, can I tell you something, pal? Huh? Let me tell you something real quick. All right. Swerve Strickland, he might be the champion, okay, but he only makes like $10 a night, all right? Okada makes like $10 million a night, all right? And I got to make sure that I get my money's worth out of those performers. And that's why they get put into the main event spots, because I've got to make sure that I get return on investment. It doesn't matter if it's right. It doesn't matter if it's wrong, okay? At the end of the day, I got to get paid too, buddy. And if you can't appreciate that, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should just stop watching my show. How about that? Why don't you just stop watching my show? I got a better idea. Why don't you just stop doing a podcast? You don't even know what you're talking about anymore. I just sick and tired of the fact that, hold on. I'm just sick and tired of the fact that you just want to come in here and criticize what I do every single week, man. It's just not cool. It's not cool, Tom. Okay, I've had enough of it. And you know what I'm gonna do? Do you know what I'm gonna do? Do you know what I'm gonna do? Do you know? I'm gonna put the title on Shibata. That's what I'm gonna do, just to piss you off, bud. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. You're looking at me all crazy-eyed, but you think you don't think I'll do it? Huh?
That would be the worst fucking. Oh my God! Could you imagine? Holy shit! Could you imagine Swerve and Shibata, Okada not Okada? Goddamn me, Shibata not selling anything. Any of Swerve stomps just popping back up. Like oh my God, brother, brother, like oh my God, like. I was threw up in my mouth when you said that. Like that was like, oh my God. I just can't, like, it's not. I feel like I've said this before. I want AEW to be good. It's worse than it's ever been right now. It's so goddamn bad. Like, it is so bad. I don't know why anybody would watch it one week and be like, yeah, I'm going to come back and watch this next week. Like, it's so bad.
Let me ask you one question and then we'll shift gears.
Okay.
If you were in the room, what is one thing that you would immediately change to try to make AEW a better product?
Probably the match lineup. I think that's thing number one, is that the match lineup and the timing. I feel like the timing is all off, the lineup is all off. I would look at it and try to set it up in a more realistic way of maintaining ratings. I would put whatever the most electric beginning could be. So, if you parade Orange Cassidy or somebody out there first. In the middle of the show, you maybe bring out an Okada or the Young Bucks or something like that to do an angle, do a match, do a whatever. You give them that, like, hey, everybody, we're trickling you along, but you keep your champions as main eventers on the main event of the show.
So let me just play devil's advocate here, okay? Because it's what I tend to do, and I live in this role pretty comfortably in my real life too. So you're like big on like the champion goes on last, right? Like that's kind of your thing.
Champion of something. Not a champion of something. A champion of, if you're gonna have the world champion on your show and if the world champion is gonna have a match at all, that's the main event. He's your world champion. That's your main event.
Okay,
so world champion.
So WWE made that decision for WrestleMania 18. Chris Jericho and Triple H. Or was it Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels? It was Chris Jericho. I do know that. Mm-hmm. It was for the World Championship. It went on last because it was the championship and they felt like that's the spot that it should have been in. But that got overshadowed by The Rock versus Hogan.
And Hogan, yeah.
Okay. Now,
it did.
On the flip side of things, you look at something like SummerSlam 2019, when Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. That match opened the show.
There were two championships at that point, though. And that's sort of the difference with WWE is that, like, they've got two brands.
So it's okay for them to have two championships, but it's not okay for Jon Moxley to come trotting out on Wednesday night with the IWGP World Championship.
IWGP, Japan Pro Wrestling is not AEW. That's the thing. That's the problem. Look, you want to have other people who are not your champion, because Jon Moxley is not AEW's champion. You want to have not AEW's champion on TV, that's fine. You want to have Jon Moxley come out and be a big deal, that's fine. I mean, Jon Moxley looks like $1 million right now. The guy is shredded at the moment, and he looks like he's ready to come back and do top guy shit, which has been a big criticism of Jon Moxley from me.
Yeah, I was going to say from you.
From me, because half the time he's doing top guy shit. The other half the time he's doing, like, mid-card guy shit. Like, it's just not great. So he's looking top guy right now. He's trying to do top guy shit, and I'm good with that. And if there's a build and we become a, like, friction between Mox and Swerve, and that becomes a thing, and that becomes the main event and the trickling storyline, hopefully, like, they need to do things more episodic, and we need, like, that would need to become sort of an ongoing storyline, which it isn't yet, but I would be fine if it became that. That would be good, because Mox seems to be in top guy mode, which he's not always in top guy mode. Sometimes he's in mid guy mode. And, so that's fine. But, like, he goes away, comes back, is immediately a big deal. IWGP World Champion Jon Moxley is here, everybody. That's a big deal. So you're saying New Japan Pro Wrestling is a bigger promotion than AEW? It's more important on AEW television, the television that AEW is paying for, than in New Japan. Like, it doesn't make sense. The booking doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and that's the problem. And that seems to be the underlying storyline is like nothing makes sense. This is like senile old man Vince McMahon booking. When WWE was at its worst,
It's not that bad.
Not quite. It's okay. So let's give that a D. This is
Because I mean, to be fair, at least he's not trotting the same match out there 6 straight weeks.
Yeah, you're right. He's not. But so that was a D. Let's give this a C plus. But WWE is putting out A's. Like you can't put the C plus. You can't put the C students with the A students.
I mean, they're can't miss right now. WWE's can't miss right now.
Yeah.
I don't. I just will simply not sit here and allow anybody to say that.
Well, it's like you got these CD students. AEW, who is the upstart promotion, is like a CD student.
Okay, let's call
WWE is like a B plus A student.
They're not the upstart promotion anymore, bro. They've been around for 5 years. Like,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, couple more AEW things I'd like to discuss, and then we'll touch on the other side of business, and then we'll take her home because we're at 51 minutes, and I mean, keep it right, keep it tight around here. Word on the street is that our friend from Dusseldorf, Germany, Aleister Tommy N. Black, that's Malachi. That's not Tommy End. His contract is close to expiration.
He's going back. He ain't sticking. He's pulling an Andrade right now.
Well, I mean, he's about to be in for his first ever singles title match. In his first ever singles pay-per-view match against Adam Copeland.
Somebody's putting a bow on a package right now.
Curious timing.
Somebody's putting a bow on a package right now for a guy that they really, really hope sticks around, because otherwise they're about to start bleeding stars, especially while Kenny Omega's and I know that's probably what we're talking about next, especially while Kenny Omega's lamenting his re-signing.
I mean, we've touched on it in the last several episodes because he continues to be a fixture on Twitch.
He is apologetic of his transgressions, which seems to be putting pen to paper and saying, "Yeah, I'll stick around for a little while." I don't know if that's 3 or 5 years, but he's definitely apologetic of that.
Yeah, and we'll get into old Spirit Fingers Magoo here in a minute. But I don't know, man. For me, I feel like Malachi Black is about to become Aleister Black real fucking quick.
I don't think there's any question in that, because one, his wife's still over there. She's still getting good TV time. She's still getting pushed. She's still it's a new regime. It's a regime that treated him very, very well in NXT. I cannot imagine him sticking around in AEW unless it's like, here's $1 billion. Please resign for 2 years. It can't be. It's got to be like. It has to be like an unbelievable. And that's not what's going to happen. Like, Tony's not going to do that. He's just not. He's not done it for anybody, because if they do it for him, everybody's going to want that.
And there's no equity with AEW's audience.
Yeah.
With Malachi Black.
No.
Right? There is equity with AEW's audience for the House of Black.
Yeah.
but I feel like most of that equity has gone to Brody King.
It has. Even Buddy, I feel like Buddy's about to, like, whenever Buddy's contract's up, like if AEW, if WWE wants Buddy back, like I feel like they're gonna get him because like then it's like, okay, you get to be with your wife.
Well, they're not married.
Not yet, but by the time Buddy's contract is up, they probably will be. And so I've been a part of a house of cards that was about to fall before. Have you worked at a place where you've been able to feel in your guts where a house of cards is about to fall? If I'm Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews particularly, I have that feeling in my gut right now. Brody King has a lot of other things going on, and is like he's the front man of like a metal band. He owns a bunch of like metal venues and like so he's kind of a guy that can come and go. I would love to. I think he would be a great addition to NXT, particularly. I think he would be awesome. Him versus Brody King versus Obafemi. I mean, I would pay money to watch that pay-per-view. But still, like, I feel like Buddy and Malachi Black, Malachi Black would be. I mean, they're almost guaranteed. It's like, okay, they're just riding the contracts out, and you know whatever happens. Hey, we want to work tonight. You're gonna work tonight. Come be here, whatever. But I don't know, man. The House of Cards feels like it's gonna fall, and you know, I think Julia Hart also has a lot of potential as well. I think she'd be great in NXT, especially right now in the gimmick she has, sort of that like Lady Undertaker kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that gimmick would work really well as well. I mean, at what point you remember like when the Pirates felt like a minor league team for like the Yankees, when the Yankees were just like on a World Series run, and we'd like have a one good player for a couple of years, and then he'd go to the Yankees.
Yeah,
that's what AEW is starting to feel like.
Yeah,
like the late '90s, early 2000s Pirates. Is that a good analogy? Does that feel like a good analogy?
It's a great analogy. It's a great analogy. Kenny Omega says that he broke Dave Meltzer's match rating scale, and now he doesn't know what a good match is. He's jumped the fucking shark, so it doesn't count for much anymore. He has jumped the motherfucking shark. And I guess who is to blame for that? Me. I'm the guy. I broke the scale. It fucked up something in his brain where he doesn't even know what a good match is anymore. He's just like, Kenny, you opened my mind to this weird fucking world of wrestling that I never saw before in my life. And I think he just doesn't understand it anymore. He can't comprehend what's going on. I opened Pandora's box and it's just running rampant now. That's all it is. That's Kenny, Spirit Fingers Omega, talking about Dave Meltzer on Twitch this past week. And his absurd match ratings. Thoughts?
That's hard to argue with. I mean, I don't know, man. I can't say that I feel like Kenny Omega's like the best wrestler of all time. Like, there's been times in like where I felt like, hey, maybe something's gonna happen. Like, and you look for something for Kenny Omega, like, oh, maybe he's gonna do something great. Maybe it's always like, kind of a letdown, especially in AEW. AEW Kenny Omega has been a letdown. I can say that AEW Kenny Omega has been overpromised and underdelivered, and I don't think anybody's gonna argue that point. But I mean, you can't be in wrestling as long as you have been and not be a fan of wrestling, right? Kenny Omega is clearly a fan of wrestling, and he sees it. He understands. And he's like, Dave's off his rocker. I mean, we agree. Dave's off his rocker. I'm not saying Kenny's like the savior of wrestling. He's not. But he understands that Dave's off his rocker and it's broken. And we just shouldn't listen to what Dave has to say about how good or bad matches are anymore. I don't know that Dave has anybody on his roster because like Kenny doesn't mention Brian Alvarez either, but Brian Alvarez is also kind of a prick about this. And it's like, if you disagree with him and it's like, Brian, you're like, and Brian's the one who's really like, he's got the heat from me because he's like, well, obviously AEW has the best in-ring talent. It's like, no, they don't, bro. Like it's a mix of like not on TV NXT talent, like people who need to learn and need to spend way more hours learning their craft. And like, then they sandwich guys who are actually good and can put on a good match, but like in the midst of like a pile of shit. So it's like, you could put a maraschino cherry on top of a pile of shit, but it's still a pile of shit with a maraschino cherry on top, right?
Yeah.
And if you bury it in the shit, it's just a shitty maraschino cherry. Like the Wrestling Observer, which is it's hard, for guys like us who've gone like, oh, okay, well, the Wrestling Observer said XYZ, and that's the news, right? Because like they have backstage, like, well, they don't have those connections anymore. Those connections have been cut off. And so now it's a purely opinion piece. And those opinion pieces and even the information that they have sucks. Like it's not any more reliable than any generic YouTuber anymore. So they're generic YouTubers, but like they're trying to like hold on to that legacy of like being the dirt sheets, and they're just generic YouTubers now. Generic YouTubers with kind of bad information because there are guys with better sources now. So it's yeah. Kenny's right in Dave's like cognitive sense, but at the same time, like Dave's sources have just like diminished, and it's not worth, their value has dropped. And I think that that's problematic for them because they've tried to go to more of a like you can't read Brian Alvarez's tweets unless you pay for it. And that's bullshit because like he doesn't have any good introspectives anymore. Like there's no reason to understand why Dave,
he's a punk bitch.
He is a punk bitch, but like there's no reason to like listen to what he has to say. It's not better than what anybody else has to say. And nobody even like references him anymore. He's not even a like reputable like source of information. He's just some chooch who you have to pay to hear when there's way better guys. Like, I mean, guys who are more connected. You could listen to Eric Bischoff for free. You can listen to like Eric Bischoff just worked there a little bit ago. Brian Alvarez has never worked for WWE. He's never worked for AEW. Like, you can listen to guys who just work there, who currently work there on podcasts for free.
Yeah.
Brian Alvarez has never held a job there. Never once. He's a washed up shit wrestler. He's like that pizza. Remember that pizza guy who was like internet famous for a minute? Yeah. Like it's like he's the level of like if that guy had a podcast 10 years in the future. That's it. And Dave Alvarez is a historian, but like not as good of a historian as Jim Cornette is, who puts out 6 hours of podcast for free a week. Why subscribe to the Wrestling Observer? Why do it? Doesn't make sense. It seems like nonsense. And Kenny's right. And I don't think Kenny got there to the level where I'm getting, but like the Wrestling Observer has buried itself. And it's sad for like longtime fans of this shit like us, But at the same time, it's just like it's time to move on. Like it's not relevant any longer. And Dave has him irrelevant for a few years, probably 3 years. I'd say, you know, we're on year 4. I'd say when the pandemic hit, like that sort of seemed to be when the shift happened, and Dave lost all his sources, and it was over. Sometimes it's over.
I came across this about 10 minutes ago, and I thought that this would be a fun little thing for us to just go ahead and take a little look-see.
Retire, rehire, revive.
Yeah, so you get to pick one. So the top row is retire, the middle row is rehire, and the bottom is revive. You get to pick one of each of those rows.
I assume I have to go first.
I mean, if you don't want to.
No, I'll go first. All right. Retire. I feel like Roman Reigns told a story. He's told a story. I feel like if he retired in a monumental way that caused the Civil War, he's the one to retire, although I'd hate that.
Yeah, he's still over, and he's not been on TV since.
But his retirement, he is the oldest of the 3. His retirement would be the most monumental, and if it was part of a storyline and he went into movies or whatever, it would be the biggest thing, right? Like that's how I'll look at this line, just this line. It would be the biggest thing, and it would make sense. I don't want any of them to retire because I like them all, but I feel like that's the way. Rehire, we're looking at Bryan Danielson, Edge, and Adam Cole, baby. Rehire is easily Adam Cole. Biggest upside. He's the youngest guy. He's done nothing in AEW because he's been hurt for the most part. And no, biggest upside, Adam Cole, rehire. Revive. Bray, love the guy.
Umaga would be fun in this Bloodline Civil War, though.
Sure would be, God. But fucking Eddie. Now, Eddie. You can't not say Eddie. It's Eddie. Especially Eddie at where he was when he passed. No, I mean he was the future regardless, and he was the future anyway. Like people still, no, it's Eddie. All right, so I'm gonna say Roman, Adam Cole, and Eddie. What say you?
Roman, Adam Cole, and Eddie. So you're just going far right all the way down.
Yep.
For me, it's it's Cody, Cole, and Bray.
I can see that. They were my number 2s. So Cody, I don't know where he goes from here, and that intrigues me because I've seen what Roman's done, and I feel like if Roman were to go now, it would be acceptable. However, maybe Cody's legacy is already acceptable.
Yeah.
But he is the champ currently, and he's hot as shit. So 2 years from now, maybe I would agree with Cody. Adam Cole, I mean, I think he's the only one with potential. I mean,
for sure. I mean, Bryan Danielson's damaged goods. Adam Copeland is just, I mean,
that's a mess.
We'll see
it's
later,
he's going to be done in a year-ish anyway.
He's had 2 Hall of Fame careers with the WWE, playing the Edge character. I mean, there's not room for that in today's WWE. Adam Cole is absolutely the choice. I mean, in any one of the fucking 3 at the bottom, the Revive, there's fun to be had. I do miss a good rocking chair promo. Umaga and Solo, like in the Civil War against one another. Whoo, God, that would be so much fun. And I mean, Eddie just.
Eddie's the total package. I don't feel like we could. I don't know. I don't feel like it would work better without. Like Eddie's the best. Like, Eddie Bray. I mean that. 10 years from now, that this might be a different conversation once things settle. But like, Eddie's been gone for so long, so like we're already sort of in the. We're in the revivalist era of Eddie. So I don't know. But no, I'm sticking with my hard right there.
No, I think it's good, man. Listen, that's what's fun about stuff like that, and I love whenever I'm able to like come across things like that and pop them into the show. It's been dope. So, hey, man, speaking of things that have been going great and things that we needed to see, I feel really bad for Senor Money in the Bank, El Campeon, because he's stuck in between a rock and a hard place.
Sure is.
Because he is not long for this title reign. But my God, is he growing on the job. And like every time he's in front of us, I'm like, hey man, your next title reign is gonna be something fucking special.
His promos are special. He's got that boom in his voice that's just down here. And it's like, it's just, God, is it good. He's always had it in the ring. Guy's always been in fucking, since his WWE time, he's been in fucking tremendous shape. I know he's a little older, so we don't have a lot of time with Damian Priest. He's older than Balor, if I believe. He's 45, right?
Yeah.
He's Balor's 42, so he's 45. I mean, so he's not long for. I mean, was he going to wrestle into his 50s? No, he's not. Nobody does. It's just you can't. I mean, I guess Ric Flair did, but like that's one. He's gonna. He's peaking now. This is our window, and man, he's making the most of it. He really is, and it's gonna be tremendous. He's gonna have this run, which is gonna be shorter than it probably deserves to be. Then his next run is going to be a little longer. And I'm here for it. He's going to be a two-time. He's going to be an AJ Styles. Really.
I mean, realistically, I feel like he probably could have lost the belt to Jey Uso at Backlash, and nobody would have batted an eye.
No. I would bet he loses it at SummerSlam.
To Gunther.
Yeah. And then he might get a it's not Universal. What's the
It's now the undisputed WWE Championship.
He's probably gonna get a good run with that. Maybe next year. But that's gonna be it. He's gonna be a 2-time champ. Champ number 2 is gonna be good. He's gonna lose it at WrestleMania.
Bro, Cody's not losing that belt until at least WrestleMania next year.
That's a good point. It's not losing it to Damian Priest either. So he's sticking around. Probably going to be a 2-time champ. I don't know. No, you know what? I think he's going to lose it to Drew. Drew's going to lose it to Gunther. And then maybe Gunther will lose it to Damian Priest and then take it from Damian Priest. I don't know.
I have one more question for you, and then we'll get into match of the week.
All right.
What do you think about Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at King and Queen of the Ring? Blood Money 25.
It's a blood money match. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Are you gonna watch it? You're gonna watch it.
Not live.
You're gonna listen. How many times we gotta go over this, bro? Like, they're already getting your money.
I know. They've already got my $6. No, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I will probably watch it because it'll probably be like noon on a Tuesday. I'll probably watch it on Saturday. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it after the fact. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good match. Logan's not gonna win, but it's gonna be fun. Cody can clearly lead a match. Logan Paul is clearly a leadable wrestler.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and that's really the thing is like,
hey, let's not forget he had a banger with Roman this time last year,
and I think that he's going to have
at Blood Money 23,
and he's going to have a banger at Blood Money 24 this year with Cody Rhodes. I have no doubts. Cody's going to be like, jump here, I'll get you. Do this here, I got it.
Yep.
Bounce here, I got you. And it's just going to be great. He's going to take great bumps. He's going to get great bumps. It's going to look great. It's going to be a match. It'll probably get about 10 minutes. I'd say that's about what our Logan Paul matches end up being. If it's not like with more guys in the ring, it's going to go about
I don't
10.
know. Him and Roman went like 26, 27 minutes. Like,
Roman works a much slower style.
That's fair.
I'll
give him 16, 17.
Yeah. Okay. Let's 15-ish minutes. But I don't know. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. I think we should time that. Let's see where it goes. Because, yeah, you're right. 15-ish minutes. If it goes sub 20, we're good. We're right. I don't think it'll go post 20.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so.
But I think that it'll be a spectacle, but Cody's gonna win with probably a double Cody cutter. It'll be a big spectacular. It'll be a boom, ba 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 boom, ba 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 boom, ba 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 boom, kind of like grand.
Whoa!
Yeah, we'll get a Cody cutter, and then we'll get like a double Crossroads at the end, and that'll be that. And we'll get some more whoas, and Logan will like walk out like still probably with the. Or wait, is he he's
the United States champion?
Still probably with the United States Championship on.
I'm glad they backpedaled out of that because they were trying to make that a title versus title thing, and it's just like no. Please don't do that because LA Knight and Logan Paul is on the horizon,
and they need to put that on LA Knight. Like that at SummerSlam would be great.
It's coming.
Yeah, that at SummerSlam is going to be good.
And on Friday night, he was like, "I'll see you soon, champ." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You will. I'm very, very much looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Shall be interesting. Hey, well.
You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked.
Yes.
My favorite match this week was Swerve Strickland versus Brian Cage.
I thought for sure you were going to come in here and say Tiffy Time versus Bianca.
That was great. That was number 2. But Swerve versus Brian Cage. Swerve is so good. He's like unconventional yet conventional at the same time.
Underrated.
Yes. Underrated. Swerve is underrated.
Not overrated like Okada.
Not over. That was one of the worst matches of the week, but like underrated. Swerve does all the little things right, and you know what? Brian Cage has come a long, long way, and he does a lot of the little things right. Most of them, in fact. Fantastic match. Got a lot of time. These are two guys who are destined to be back in a proper federation.
Swerve will never go back to WWE, and
Probably not.
Brian Cage is just tailor made for WWE, and the fact that he signed the contract extension is still just mind blowing to me. But
I don't understand either.
I don't, I mean, it is what it is at this point, use case and et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know.
I loved it. It was great. It was great start to finish. And why did I put it on at 9:00? Like, fuck. That was the main event. It was. I watched it. They stole the show. That was probably their intention. Tony was like, shucks. So, whatever. And then he shit himself and was up till 4 a.m. Shame.
Well, if we would have went last week before you left for Disney, your match of the week would have definitely been Sheamus versus Gunther.
That was so good.
But my match of the week this week comes from Friday night SmackDown. RKO versus HIM. Carmelo Hayes and Randy Orton. I didn't know Randy had that left in the gas tank, bro. I mean, those guys were all over the fucking place.
I am from where Randy was pre-back surgery to now. How did they surgically repair 20 years of wrestling? Because the man is unbelievable. Ungodly. Randy Orton this is the best Randy Orton we've seen in 20 years. Am I wrong?
No. He's been absolutely just
a monster.
It's been great. And like coming off of a back injury that almost ended his career to come in and do a match like he had on SmackDown on Friday with an up and coming young guy like Carmelo Hayes. Yeah.
It was one of those things where, so I've watched this one as well, only on YouTube, and right before we recorded, but like Randy had to go through that with him, right? Like he and Randy sat down and said, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, here's this spot, here's that spot. God, was it good, man. Like it just seemed so tight.
Yeah.
And everybody looked good the whole time.
It's great. Listen, SmackDown top to bottom was a great show. Bianca was awesome. Bianca and Tiffy time was awesome. Jade Cargill and Nia Jax was fun. Jade still definitely needs some work, but unfortunately we're at a position where she's got to learn on the job. Because there is no more time to waste with her. But I do believe she's going to figure it out sooner rather than later.
Well, I think that she's going to probably get at some point a long feud with Bianca Belair where she will figure it out. And Bianca's probably already been like, all right, I got you.
Girl, not
because they can work a similar style. Jade is just gonna kind of have to be more
better,
huh?
More better?
I mean, better than she is, but she's gonna have to be more. She's gonna have to be slower. Bianca's quick, and that's kind of part of the like why it's like, oh my god, she's so fast. Yeah, she's gonna have to go. She's gonna have to go a little more Ultimate Warrior. Gonna have to hold it a little more. Gonna have to drop it a little slower. Gonna have to pick them up, hold them a little bit, make them sell a little longer while she goes. Yeah, a little bit of that. I hope to see it work. I really do.
But listen, at the end of the day, Bub, wrestling is fun.
So fun. I'm having so much fun.
I'm sorry that you're so bummed out on Okada and AEW. And,
I just wish it was better. I want it to be better, but every time I turn it on, it's not. That's the problem. Be better.
I mean, I'm with you.
AEW, be better. I feel like that's the swan song of this show. AEW, be better. You were better before. Do that. Whatever that was, do it again. This is not better. This is bad. Do better. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
All right, y'all. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get the fuck up out of here. We appreciate the fuck out of you for hanging out. If you're still here, hit the thumbs up button. Thank you so very much. Hey, if you enjoy what we're doing, tell your buddy, man. Listen, we're just requesting a commute to work, man. And if you can listen to us for that, and you're going to know whether or not you're digging what we're doing. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out.
You are going to dig it. We're cool.
So, tell your friends. Give us a chance.
Tell your enemies. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. I mean, we're pleasing to your ear holes. And if you're YouTubing us, I'm pleasing to your eye holes.
Hey, me too. Look at this fucking gorgeous, like, silver fox beard I got going on here. Good God.
Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. Hey, man, I really appreciate the fact that we got to do this week.
Me too. I missed you, buddy.
Miss you too, pal. Glad you had a good time at Disney with the fam.
I did. I had a fantastic time.
Let's get through the next couple of weeks. Let's try to maybe go have some wings or something, huh? What do you think?
I love wings.
I do too.
My favorite thing. Wings and beer.
Then, yeah.
Together?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Oh my gosh. Let's do it.
Let's figure it out.
Oh my gosh, pal.
So we're gonna get up on out of here. Hey man. Thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. I feel like we're closer and closer to getting Derek back.